how's it hanging, folks? I'm Mr. Grey 3000, and welcome to drawing number 4, Death's Kiss. So, Halloween is here, and what better way is there to celebrate the holiday than getting into the spirit of it all and drawing something that's equal parts spooky, strange, and sexy. From the very beginning of this piece, I knew that I wanted it to be somewhat centered around a dangerous, seductive, enigmatic, and highly feminine character. So I took a lot of inspiration from glamorous and iconic queens of the night like the elegant Morticia Addams and the delightfully sultry Elvira. I wanted this character to be a non-human vampire-like being, hence the pointy elven ears and big black eyes. The latter trait came a lot later in the thumbnailing process. The character originally had icy blue eyes, but I veered from that direction pretty quickly in order to make her feel more otherworldly. I originally wanted her earrings to be large metallic crosses during the thumbnail process, but I thought little dangling daggers would look a bit more unique and also help to amplify the element of danger that I wanted in our Death Goddess's design. Playing with the elements of danger and femininity, I ended up putting a few poisonous belladonna flowers into our Death Goddess's hair. I first envisioned her with a thorny flower crown on top of her head, but I wasn't exactly thrilled with how that looked in the thumbnail drawing, so I scrapped that idea. I felt that a bob haircut would look absolutely fierce on this character, but something about the long wavy hair that I started experimenting with in the thumbnail drawings really appealed to me. I thought it would be cute to give her gown a frilly décolletage. And I also figured that it would make for a fun contrast to see this dark and dangerous death goddess wear a cute, pink, flowery garter on her neck. So I ended up turning the crosses that were once her earrings into one singular ring on her left ring finger. I just really wanted to get a cross into this piece. I felt like this recognizable symbol would help to further emphasize this woman's connection to the spiritual world. Plus, it helps to amplify her gothy aesthetic while also giving her some glamorous jewelry. Her glamorous stiletto nails were another way to amplify that dangerous, highly feminine, witchy aesthetic I was going for. I ended up making both her nails and her shoes a bright, light pink color because I love the traditionally girly, hyper-feminine elements of the design, contrasting with her overall dark, dangerous, otherworldly appearance. So much of the appeal and good character design comes from contrast in some form or another. I really wanted to have some fun with our little Death Goddess's eye makeup. Usually I go for very solid colors when I put eyeshadow on feminine characters, but this time I went with a gradient that went from a creamy color to a medium brown of some sort. To make it feel even more dramatic, I put a darker, blurrier brown color behind it. There was a long time during the thumbnailing process where I doubted if the eye makeup look I was going for would actually work, but after practicing it a few times I felt like I finally got it to a point where it looked appealing. I don't have a lot to say about the businessman character, as he's essentially the most generic of the bunch. I didn't put too much thought into his design when compared to the rest of the figures in the piece, I just thought it would be cool to see a sexy goth chick sitting on a dead man's lap. I made his corpse a blue color in order to differentiate him from the death goddess. For some reason, I really didn't like the thought of these two being the same stark white color. I felt that it would make it seem as though they were the same thing. Plus, there's something about him being that light blue color that really makes it feel like he's as dead as he could possibly be. I guess I strongly associate the aesthetics of cartoony corpses with that of the Corpse Bride. She has a really great design, by the way. So the idea of the drippy, bloody looking kissy marks was inspired by this absolutely sickening photo by the gorgeous makeup artist, Chris Speed. I just love the way that the red and blue eyeshadow drips down her face. It's glamorous, but really creepy too. Once I saw that picture, I just knew that I had to play with the idea in some way. Initially, I just had the Death Goddess's mascara running down her face, but I wasn't satisfied with that. It made the design feel a bit too busy. After experimenting with the thumbnails for a little while, I got the idea to make the lipstick marks on the man's face drip like the makeup in the reference photo. It immediately made me think, kiss of death. Yeah, that's why it's dripping down his face and neck like blood. The drippy, blood-like lipstick marks really help to amplify the spooky yet sexy nature of this piece, and I love it. It's really in the spirit of Halloween. From the conception of this piece, I knew that I wanted there to be some sort of big, scary, creepy, intimidating companion following our Death Goddess. At first I was thinking that she would be followed around by the Grim Reaper himself, but as cool as the Grim Reaper is, I wasn't super excited to just be drawing a skull and a big black robe. It just seemed too simple. So I started sketching a little thumbnail of a squarish, classical-looking phantom character with antlers, and I really liked it. From there, I beefed up the character's physique and incorporated my original Grim Reaper idea by giving him a skull-like face. The face was also partially inspired by the space coupe from the original Scooby-Doo series. I wanted our Death Goddess's companion to be the exact opposite of her, an ugly, monstrous-looking masculine being who the audience could immediately identify as non-human. The jack-o'-lantern that our monstrous companion is carrying comes from the idea of people claiming to see a light in the midst of a near-death experience. I just really love the idea of the goddess's monstrous companion luring spirits to their eternal home with this iconic Halloween decoration. I thought it would be really fun to have the jack-o'-lantern be lit by a bright blue flame. I feel like it makes the whole thing look more otherworldly. This concept came very late into the thumbnailing/brainstorming process, but I just loved having the monstrous companion carrying around these captured souls. The underlying idea is unsettling when you put a bit of thought into it. These souls are basically dazed, confused, trapped, and helpless. They don't know what's going on. But having the monstrous companion carry them around like he was a kid at a county fair with a bunch of balloons also gives this piece a bit of a tongue-in-cheek vibe. So even though this aspect of the piece had been firmly established during the thumbnailing process, I had actually forgotten to draw the dead man's ghost going towards the light of the jack-o'-lantern. Much like the ghosts that are captured by the monstrous companion, his design is a pretty simple classical ghost design with the long flowing tail and a general lack of detail. Oh, and of course I just had to have some sort of mysterious fog rolling in from the underworld pit that the monstrous companion is rising out of. And here it is, folks, the finished piece. So if you like this video, go on ahead and show that like button some love. And if you want to see even more from me, go on ahead and give that subscribe button some love too. Hit that bell while you're at it to make sure you don't miss any new videos. And don't forget to share this video on all of your favorite social media hangouts. If you'd like to further support my channel, Artwork and Wellbeing, make sure to pop on over to my Patreon and Ko-fi pages. You'll get all kinds of goodies with the former, and the latter is especially great for those of you who are more comfortable with a fast and easy one-time tip. You guys can also find me on Tumblr and Instagram with the same Mr. Gray 3000 handle. I pretty much post almost all of my creative work to these places, so if you can't get enough of it, make sure to follow me there. By the way, you might have noticed a comic or two while scrolling through my profiles. That's TUMBLR, a science fantasy webcomic that chronicles the day-to-day experiences, exploits, and adventures of a heroic group of mages stationed in the ancient wizarding palace known as the titular Temple Vati. Join them as they defend their lush moon home of Orbluma from a myriad of dastardly threats as they also try to live their normal lives. I'm very passionate about this, folks, so I'd really appreciate it if you could check it out on Tapas and Webtoon and add it to your libraries. Alright folks, have a good one and take care.